Who was the comedian that inspired you to go into comedy? Was there one?
Sam Kinnison. When I started comedy my first year, Sam Kinnison came to where I lived in Ottawa, Canada.
He was the best.
He was the fucking greatest.
He really was.
And he couldn't get work in the States, you know, because he'd walk rooms. And I fucking saw him. That's the amazing thing. Just every night walk
Why couldn't he
rooms.
get work in the States?
Because he'd walk every room, you know.
What does that mean, walk every room?
Like everybody would walk out.
Oh, I see.
And when I thought about it later, man, like, you know, these guys think they're all fucking, whatever you call it. What do you call
Edgy.
it? Edgy
Yeah.
and all this shit. All they're doing is swearing and doing this. But fucking Kinnison, man, in a room full of, and he was an unknown, in a room full of everybody's on a date, he would fucking go up to them and go, "Don't fucking get married. Fuck, it's the worst fucking thing."
Yeah, right.
And people would fucking go, "Holy shit, I'm with this woman," you know?
Don't tell me your problems.
Yeah, and
Right.
he'd challenge him so much.
But he wasn't a jokey kind of guy, right? You don't like a guy who does shticky joke after joke after joke.
There's very few that I like, but I love Rodney Dangerfield is my favorite.
And then he was a guy who would fire off jokes,
Yeah,
but he was
the
great.
jokes have to be so fucking good.
Did he write his own jokes?
Yeah, he wrote them all.
I know guys who went into meetings with him about a movie.
Yeah.
He'd show up late in a bathrobe with his balls hanging out.
Yeah.
And like legendary stories of it.
yeah,
You
yeah.
talk about not giving a
Oh,
fuck.
it was his
You
balls.
worship that. You want to be that guy
It
who
was the
doesn't give a
greatest.
fuck, right?
I met Rodney, man, when I was I made the worst mistake ever, which I was in the fucking hotel, and I loved Rodney and shit. I didn't know him. And I was coming down in the casino. I was coming down the fucking elevator, and Rodney was in the elevator. I'm like, oh my God, it's Rodney. I got to say something to him. So anyways, I'd worked on some stupid fucking thing with this director
Yeah.
who said he worked with Rodney.
Yeah.
So I used that as a thing, right? So I go, "Hey, Rodney," I go, "we have a common friend." He goes, "Who's that?" I go, "Paul Johnson." He goes, "That cocksucker." He goes, "That fucker's no friend." And there's a full elevator. "That fucker's no friend of mine. You tell him he can suck my dick." I'm like, "Oh, I'm not his friend. I'm not his friend."
And you hear these stories that Rodney was sort of a bitter guy because he made it late in life and
did,
all that. But
yeah.
yet he was a sweet guy because
He helped everybody.
I mean, he did something for me that I'll never forget. Like, I appeared on The Tonight Show with Jay Leno, and Rodney called me at my house. Now, I didn't know Rodney. And he just says, "Hey, Howard, I just want to tell you, when I used to do shows, no one ever called me. No one ever said I did good. I knew what you were doing up there. You were great. You were doing a great
that's
job."
cool.
And I was like, wow, Rodney Dangerfield. I mean, because he's the guy. You
Yeah,
know, if he
yeah,
thinks
yeah.
you did okay, I must have done okay.
Yeah.
So what a tremendous, nice thing to do for somebody.
Unbelievable. Well, I met him. I was on Saturday Night Live when I did Update. He came and did some jokes on his 75th birthday. So we have to do dress first at 8:30 and then at 11:30 the show,
Right.
So he comes and he's like, "Hey, Norm, I got to fucking talk to you, So I go in and I'm like, "Mr. Dangerfield, it's great to meet you." The first time I ever met him. He goes, "Listen, man." He goes, "What the fuck, man? Why am I doing it at 8:30? I know my fucking jokes. I'll just come back at 11:30. I go, "I don't know how it works, Rodney. You got to do it." He goes, "God damn." He goes, "Let me tell you something, kid." This was his advice to me.
Kid.
He goes, "Let me tell you something, kid." He goes, "This fucking TV shit, He goes, "This waiting around all the fucking time. It's a bunch of all shit, It's shit." He goes, "It's the same with fucking movies, You're in the movie, and then you're in the fucking trailer all the time. That's all you're doing is fucking jerking off in the trailer, He goes, "It's all shit, kid." He goes, "Remember this and remember it. Remember it forever. Stand up, man. That's all there is. Stand up."
And he meant it.
Then there's a fucking 5-minute pause. He's looking me right in the eyes. He goes, "Stand up, shit."
He forgot. It's all shit.
Okay, well.
A negative guy. Yeah, it's just great, though. What a funny man. Just naturally funny man.